welcome to my kitchen. I am Tina with Hanging with Frugal Tina. So I want to get right into it because I have a lot to say and I want to get over there and get dinner going because it needs to get in the crock pot. So I decided to do a budget week at an extreme budget, and I decided to do $5 a day, so $35. But then I started thinking, yeah, well, you know, the kids are in school all week. They have breakfast there. They have lunch there. Sometimes they have breakfast here. They'll have a little toast or a little cereal, but mostly they like to go to school and sit in the cafeteria with the other kids. So then I started thinking, well, $35 might be a little bit much, but it's doable. It's not easy, but it's doable. But I decided to give myself a little bit of a challenge. So I picked $25. I went online, I picked out my items, and I went to the store. When I got to the store, I encountered a problem. The entirety should have cost me $24.80 for the entirety of everything that I ordered, including the stuff that I charged myself that I had at home already. So when I get there, it's not the number I thought it was going to be. It's a different number. Well, they gave me 2 bags of chicken that's already thawed out. It's not frozen, which is, I forget what it is. It's like $1.50 more. Like it's $4.68 for the chicken I wanted. What they got was 5 something, I think. So they wouldn't do the adjustment to match. My guess is that maybe it weighs more because there wasn't more pieces in there. It said 12 to 13 pieces, so I don't know. But anyway, that happened. So I took one of the packs of chicken out and kept one. I'll go back during the week and see if they restock the cheaper chicken. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to charge myself for the chicken in this because it wasn't my fault, or I am because I actually have it. But if it was just, and if my numbers are right, if they're wrong, I'm going to be popping numbers up all over the place. If it was just what I ordered and what I have in the house, would have been $24.80. I was 20 cents short. I could not figure out what to do with that 20 cents because I could have gotten a Tic Tac. I would have did it. But with the added chicken on that I did get the other bag, it would be, I have it written down here, $26.50, putting me $1.50 over. Yeah. So I'm not sure how I want to do, but I want to be honest about what it is that we have. So that's what the deal is. I'm going to make 7 meals for 6 people on $24.80. $25, y'all. So I don't really have much more to say. I got some explaining to do when we get over there, but basically it's what I said over here. So it'll be a repeat, but you'll be able to see what I mean. So I gotta cook now too. So without further ado, let's get it, let's go. Let's go heat up those pots. Come on. Here's everything you're going to need for the week of meals. I have a little bit of explaining to do, and I will explain as we go. I'm going to start right away with the chicken. You will see 2 different kinds of chicken up there. The one on the left is what they actually gave me. I did not want that. I wanted the one that was on the right. I had to put one back because it brought me over budget. And when I went back, I bought the other pack of chicken at the correct price. Although I did not have it pictured here, so I superimposed the 4-pound chicken on there. That's an explanation. And the turkey in the bottom left, I forgot to put that on the counter when I was doing this, so I also added a picture of that in. So let's go over what we're going to need. You're going to need a jar of salsa, 2 bags of chicken, a box of stuffing, macaroni and cheese, elbow pasta. Now, these things would have been store brand, but I had them already. 5 cans of vegetables, 1 can of crushed tomatoes. The cheese out there is a big block, but I only needed the 8 ounces, but I already had that. So I'm only going to use half of that block. ground turkey, 2 packs of rice. I was getting the bigger pack. It was $1.77, but they subbed that out for those 2. And the wraps, that's really just a placeholder because I'm buying those from the Dollar Tree for $1.25 for the same size. Okay, here's meal number 1. This is a crock pot meal. Yep, quick and easy. We're going to be making salsa chicken over rice. These could be served in bowls or on the plate. Doesn't matter, however you want. I haven't decided yet. So you could add the vegetables in with it while you're cooking or leave it on the side. I haven't decided yet on that, how I want to go, and it's just corn anyway, so I can always add it in the last minute. What are you going to need? You're going to need some salsa, chicken, vegetable, your rice, and some taco seasoning. That's it. Before I come back with my crock pot, I will have washed my rice and put it in the Instant Pot, and cleared off my chicken. I will decide at that point whether or not we're keeping the skins or not. But even if I don't keep them, I will not be throwing them away because I can use them later. Okay, chicken is all ready to go. I took off most of the skin. I decided to do that all the way down to like the leg portion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding the chicken in. And then I'm going to put a little bit of taco seasoning down. Put some seasoning down on top. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then the last of it, if it fits. If not, I'll have to use Eric's little crock pot. Oh, I forgot to mention, my daughter is here. So what they did is they brought their own chicken. So there is going to be a couple extra pieces in here. I was keeping 3 out of this thing. So everybody, all of us could have 2 pieces. All 6 of us could have 2 pieces. And that left 3 that were still in the bag. And I needed those 3 for later during the week. So I'm going to put hers also in here with ours. And just take with the 3 that she made and put it in the refrigerator. Okay, that's good. It's going to make it. Just wanted to say that. In case you see me cooking up all the chicken and saying, I thought you cooked all that chicken. I did. I take her pack and put 3 to the side. Okay, so now you need about a cup and a half of salsa on top. I measured out a whole cup, and I'm going to start with that because I want a little bit of salsa for later, for during the week. So I'm going to save this half a jar. If I decide to go back in later and add a little bit more, because the recipe calls for a cup and a half, so we're going to start at a cup, and if I feel like it needs it as it cooks down, I'll add more. So I have it on high because it's later in the day, so that's 4 hours, and boom, I left 1 in the bowl. So I'm going to try and shove it in there. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. I had to pull my liner out because it got something on it on the outside, and I didn't want it getting on our food, so I just snipped it and slid it out. So we're about maybe an hour away from being done on the timer because we're at internal temperature is at 140. You want it at least 160, 165. So we're going to leave that there, but I'm going to give you a peekaboo what it's looking like right now. That's what it's looking like right now. I might, and you can do this, I might take this out, the insert, and put it in the oven just to give it that little final something on top. You don't have to do that, I'm thinking I'll do it. If I do, I'll tell you. Okay, the chicken on the bottom is more done than the chicken on the top, although it is getting there. I'm gonna try and mix it around with the spoon, and then I'm gonna, now, don't go by me. Do your own research. But as far as I know, you can put this in the oven without the lid. So I'm gonna push it down a little bit because I wanna get just a little, some extra on the skin there. You could be finished here, but I'm always extra. So I like my chicken with a little bite on it. Remember I said you could put the whole crock pot in there. I changed my mind on that thought as well. I took the chicken out of the crock pot. You do not have to do this step. The juice is still in there. Keep it warm. You see I still have it on. Actually, I turned to low. I took all of the chicken out. Here it is right here. It's hot. And I put it on this sheet pan. The reason I did that is because I'm a little funny. I like my meat like with a little bit of something on top. I just don't like it like that unless I'm shredding it. So I'm gonna put it in under the broiler for a couple of minutes just to crisp it up, and that's it. You do not have to do that step. I decided I didn't want just plain rice, and we're gonna be using it in multiple meals, so I took a little bit of chicken bouillon and threw it into the rice. I'm just gonna mix that through. There we go. Just mixing it through, that's all we're gonna do. And then we're gonna, it was just plain old white rice with salt and pepper in it. I could have put a little bit of taco seasoning, I didn't think about that, but I wanna be able to use it in other meals, so there you go. For the corn, I'm just gonna put a big old plop of not butter, country crock vegetable spread. Totally forgot to tell you to put the pepper in there. Taco seasoning, butter, and pepper. Whew, here we go. That's all done. I got the gravy over there, or the salsa juice over there. I got the corn in the microwave, and I got the chicken right there. I'm gonna plate this up. I put this on a plate so that you guys can see it without it being in a bowl. But typically I would put the rice down, put the juice on it, or the corn, you know how to do it. And we're just gonna drizzle that right down on top. Even though I seasoned it anyway. And there's my plate. Looking yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm gonna meet you at the table. We're at the table. I got this massive plate, me, the small eater, and Eric. So I already pulled off a piece of chicken, so you guys didn't have to wait. Did you get your piece off?
Yes.
All right, so we just got a little nibble here. I'm gonna try the rice and this together. Ready? Go. Mmm.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm. I've never had that before. It's pretty tasty. The salsa went, I'm gonna try another piece inside. It seems like it went all the way down in the chicken, and I didn't poke any holes in it. We'll find out, hold on. The chewy part there. There we go. Let's do it.
Me?
No. The flavor goes all the way through. Not as strong in the middle as outside, but yeah. Let's see what this rice tastes like with it. I've never had this before, so I'm quite interested in how it's going to taste. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
Mmm.
Mmm. That's good. Mm-hmm. Yours only has a little bit of chicken flavor in it, but mine's got the juice. Yeah, that's yummy. Let me get everybody else down here. Here's everything you're gonna need for meal number 2. There is something different out here, and that is because while I was in the hospital with Aiden, they used the macaroni and cheese that I bought. I bought the Great Value, thick and creamy. They used it, so I just grabbed a similar item out of my pantry. I've made this meatloaf before on this channel, and it's really, really good, and it's so easy to make. The pantry staples that you're going to need are the brown sugar, the ketchup, and an egg. I've made it without an egg because the ground turkey's kind of wet, but if you have it, use it. And you could use 1 to 2 eggs. You could do this with ground turkey, ground chicken, ground beef. I prefer it with the ground turkey. I don't know why, but I do. It just tastes better. So you're going to need a half a cup of brown sugar, a half a cup of ketchup, a half a cup of water, a box of stuffing. I prefer cornbread, and I actually prefer the store brand over the stovetop. A pound of ground beef or ground turkey or ground chicken. I'm using ground turkey. And I have made this, to be honest, with half a pound before when I had no money. It was more cornbread than it was meat, but it still tasted good. A box of macaroni and cheese. You're going to need whatever you need to make that. I have made that with just butter and water. So, and I've done it with just water, but it isn't as good. And then a can of green beans. Before we begin, I forgot, to the turkey, when I add it in to kind of beef it up a little bit, I do add a couple splashes of the W sauce. So you don't have to because the stuffing has a lot of seasoning in it. So, but I just like to. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 1 box of the stuffing. I prefer the cornbread stuffing, and I also prefer the off-brand, but they didn't have it. Okay. To that, you're going to add 1/2 cup of water. Could be warm, doesn't have to be. And we're going to give that a mix. Just enough to soften it. We don't want it super, super wet. To this, you're going to add your whole pound of whatever it is that you're using. I'm using ground turkey because that's what the budget calls for, and that's what I prefer. You're going to add a half a cup of ketchup. An egg or 2, depending on what you're using. I'm using this ground turkey. It's wet. You only need 1. I should only need 1. A couple of splashes of the W sauce going into the meat a little bit. All right, so I'm going to put a couple of drops of the W sauce. Take it or leave it. It gives you a little bit of a beefy flavor to it. It's about maybe a half a teaspoon. So now we're just going to mix that up. I'm going to use my hands. That's why I have the glove on. You want to try not to over mix because you don't want it to come out tough. We see how wet this meat is, and with the ketchup in there, you really don't need a ton of egg. So I wasn't concerned if I didn't use it, or if you don't use it, you're fine. So I sprayed my pan with a little bit of vegetable oil. I don't know that it needs it, but since I'm cooking with turkey, I'm just doing it. So I'm just smearing it around a little bit so it's not all kind of greasy. I'm using, instead of using like a loaf pan, I'm using this lower rise so it's not tall. I want it to be flatter. You could cook it in the meatloaf pan if you so choose. So we're going to take our ball of meat and right into the bowl. Whoops. Pretty sure it's the pan I used last time. Okay, I moved it down to the smaller size pan. It just looked like it was going to be super flat. I want it to be flat, but I don't want it to be like paper thin. Okay, so what I do here, you could take or leave this step. This is what I do. I take my fingers and I poke some holes like this. I like to do that because it gets some of the topping down inside of the meatloaf. Just kind of, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. So what we're going to do, let me move that back for a second. What you're going to do is you're going to do equal parts. Half a cup of ketchup. half a cup of brown sugar. This is light brown sugar. I don't have dark brown right now. It really truly doesn't matter. Could even use table sugar if you had to. Or table sugar, white sugar, if you had to. Yeah, that's a half a cup. For a minute, I thought I put the wrong thing in there. Mix that together. All right. We're there. So now you're going to take your dressing that we made and we're going to spread it on top. And when I tell you this thing is so yummy, I'm not lying. So you got $1.98 in ground turkey. You got maybe 75 cents if you go to Aldi's in the stuffing. And pantry staples, some egg and stuff like that. And don't even need the egg, because you add the ketchup and everything else. It gets to be nice and bindy that way. And put it right on top. And then I'm going to put this in my 400-degree oven. 20, 25, man, maybe not 20, 25 minutes, I guess, ish. Now this would be much thicker if you did it in a loaf pan, but I like it. I like a low rise because it goes farther when you're feeding a lot of people. Okay, that's it. That's going in the oven. I'm going to make the macaroni and cheese just as it says so on the box. My green beans are pretty boring. It's the green beans, some salt, pepper, butter, and a little bit of garlic. That's it. Boom! Trust me, this topping is on the money delicious. So I couldn't leave it any longer. It started a little browning on the edge. And there's my plate. I'm going to meet you at the table. We're at the table. And our budget meals. Let's just go right for the meat. I like the end pieces. Oh, that's moist. Wait. It's a little hot, but you ready? I come.
Wow.
Just like last time, right?
Yeah.
It's got this really sweet topping to it. Really good. Really good. And these are just regular old basic green beans.
That's good.
He didn't want any. And then as soon as I set my plate down, he says, man, those green beans smell good. All right. Well, let me get the others fed, and I'll see you at the wrap-up. Bye-bye. Dinner's over. How'd they do? How'd they like it? Whoop! There you go. Not a drop left. Well, there's a drop. So from the last pack of chicken, I took out 3 pieces. This pack, I also took out 3 pieces. It's going to make more than one meal, but since I'm going to be making some broth, I do need the chicken cooked, so why not kill a couple of birds with one stone? Here's my only problem. One of the pieces of chicken in that pack, there's like no chicken on it, but that's all right. So it's like 5 and a half pieces. So we're going to put that in the crock pot. We're going to season it up. I am going to show you something I'm going to use. And the reason I'm going to use it is because I want you guys to start seeing things that you could put up now and use later. But before I show you what I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you everything we're going to need for tonight's meal. You're going to need some chicken, a little bit of the elbows. I could use rice, but I need the rice for other meals. So I figured I'll take out a little bit of the elbows out of there. It'll be all right. Some chicken bouillon, salt and pepper. I don't know if I'm going to use that salt or not because of the bouillon. Garlic powder, onion flakes, parsley. I have onion powder out there also. I don't think I want to use both of those. I think I'm just going to use the onion flake. What I want to show you that I use, what I keep telling you to save stuff. Save this, don't throw that away, don't throw this away. This is one of my smaller bags, but you see that? That's got pieces of onion in it, the skins of an onion. I think that's a piece of a pepper in there, like the stem. In this bag, you can't really see it, but when I cut up the broccoli, there are parts of the stem that I keep. Here's part of an onion that I wasn't going to use it all. I threw it in the freezer. A couple of chunks of carrots that were going to go bad, so I stuck it in the freezer. All of that is free, either vegetable broth or with the chicken, we're going to make chicken broth. So I'm not going to use the chopped up onions. I'm probably going to use some of the onion skins and stuff out of here because the onion skins and everything give your chicken broth great color and also the flavoring. Maybe I'll throw a couple of the carrots in. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I didn't even remember that I had these in there, so that's the reasoning behind that. So got a little bit of onion, got all that. We got some vegetables. All right, I made 4 cups of chicken broth. Oops, 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 I poured all over the counter. Probably make a little bit more. And then we're gonna start putting the chicken in. I pulled the skin off because I don't want that much fat in there. I'm gonna put these pieces of chicken down in here. I was gonna season them before I put them in, but as soon as I drop it in, it's gonna be gone anyway. So I'm gonna put these 6 pieces or 5 point something. Look at this thing. Like, what is that? That's not a chicken leg. It's the bone of a chicken leg, but that's what I have. That's what I'm using. All right. So put some more chicken down in there. Now, all of this chicken is not staying in here. I need this chicken for 3 meals. We need it for the soup and 2 others. Okay, and then I have the chicken skin still in there, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with that just yet. I'm gonna put some of the onion powder and stuff like that in there. I'm gonna hold off on some of the seasonings because the chicken broth bouillon has some seasoning in it. So this is just some onion flakes. This is why I never charge myself for an onion, because if I don't use the onion, I'm going to use this and I'll reconstitute it in some water. Bring it back to life. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of parsley in there. I like it because I like to see it floating around, so not that it adds any flavor or anything. And a little bit of black pepper. Typically, I would just throw this in there if I didn't have the chicken in there, but because I do, I'm gonna do it a different way. I'm gonna take this cheesecloth and I'm gonna put these big pieces in there. It's just parts of onion, piece of broccoli, piece of a pepper, things like that. I'm gonna throw the carrots straight in there. That's what I'm gonna do. But this is why you save these, and wait until you see the color that the skins of an onion bring and the flavor. You won't see it, but I'll talk about it. Let me see if there's any more broccoli in the other bag. There's a piece. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna pull up the sides and I'm gonna make it like a tea bag so that it goes in the soup, but when it's time to come out, boink, I just pull that right out. That's how I do. I'm just gonna make like a ponytails. And I'm gonna tie a little knot in it. Hope I'm in frame. There's that. Some of these carrots that were in the freezer. This is why I tell you, if you're gonna be doing a budget, and if I didn't have it, this would be just fine the way it is. I promise you, I would eat it just like that. So there's a nice big handful of carrots, not very many, but you don't need a lot. I'm just gonna coarsely chop. Chop those up. And I'm just gonna put it in just like that. I'm gonna rinse them off a little bit to get that ice off of it. But, okay, rinse those off. Got that ready. I'm gonna drop those carrots down in there. All right, they're all in. Then we're gonna take our vegetable bag, push that down in there. And we're just gonna let that thing cook. Okay, I'm gonna boil up about 2/3 of a cup of pasta because I need this pasta for another dish. So about that much. Or you can use rice or whatever you want, or not at all. So I got water boiling. I'm gonna boil that up. Okay, I'm gonna take the chicken out of the broth and then debone it into this bowl because then I'm gonna take all of the meat and I'm gonna break it down into 3 equal parts. I'm gonna leave the little satchel in there for now until I'm ready to get rid of it. So I'm just gonna pull all this chicken out and I'm just gonna take the chicken off and throw it in there. It's super hot, so I don't wanna do that on camera. That's just what I'm gonna do. Okay, that is the not three. That's what I have to break up into 3 piles. I'm not gonna do them evenly because some things need more, some things need less. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put some of this in the soup, maybe less than 1/3 for the soup because I got the soup cooking. I got a can of vegetables going in there. So we don't need as much meat in the soup. Okay, so I'm gonna use about this much in the soup. So I'm gonna shred this up with my fingers and then I'll show you what the soup looks like. Also, I forgot to put out, when I was putting out the ingredients, I have a can of mixed vegetables that's going into that soup. Okay, that's what I have chopped up. I'm gonna show you the satchel in just a second here. You see? All those bits and pieces easily removed, and it added a ton, it added a ton of flavor in there. So that's out. This is going back in. I did move the chicken from the crock pot over to a regular pot because it wasn't getting done quick enough, so I had to hurry up and move it over. We were running out of time and the kids are hungry, so I sped it up by throwing it into a pot. I don't know if that translates on how dark and yummy that broth is, and that's from putting all those other things in there and those couple bits and pieces. So these carrots didn't really matter because I'm putting vegetables in it anyway. I just wanted to show you if you didn't have any vegetables and had you saved little bits, there's something else you could do. So we're gonna put this chicken back in there. And you can always add more broth. That's how I stretch it. I keep adding more and more broth. All right, that's in there. I also forgot about the noodles I was gonna put in there. And 3/4 of a cup. Boom. Going in. It's gonna be good and hearty. I might even add a little bit more broth to this because it's gonna be like too hearty. Okay, I'm gonna take it right out of here because I don't have frozen and we are working with the canned stuff. So peas, carrots, corn. Gonna put about half of the can in there. Let's give that a good stir. Oh yeah. I'm gonna add just a little bit more broth to this because this is a lot in here. I'll show you in a minute. So I gave it a little tasty poo and I feel like it needs a little more garlic and onion powder in it. This is the garlic. And again, this is all to taste, so I can't really tell you how much to put in there because I like more garlic than most people. Some people like more pepper. That should do the trick. Let me plate it up. This is a giant bowl. See how big it is? I'm just using this bowl so you could see what is in the soup. And I'll put it in a smaller bowl that I can handle. Oop, oop. You see all that goodness in there? It's got all that chicken in there. That's why you didn't need as much. Get one more scoop of just the ingredients and not the juice. Lots and lots. There you go. See the dark color that has? That's from adding all those other things in there. All right, well, I'm gonna put it in a smaller bowl for me. And there's my bowl. I'm gonna meet you at the table. We're at the table. We're gonna dive right in because we're hungry. I have so much stuff inside my soup. Good thing I only used half of the can of the other vegetables. It'd have been over vegetables. All right, ready? Let me just see if mine's not too hot. Hold on. Because it's piping hot. Now you can serve this with a little bit of butter bread, some crackers, whatever. All right, mine's warm, not piping hot. You good? Mm. Okay, let's go for it. Mmm.
Mmm. That's really good.
That is really good. Grandma made that broth all by herself from bones. Mm. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna eat this whole bowl.
Me too.
You too,
this
yeah?
is really good.
That's really good. I'm not big on soups. I like homemade soups, but not soup from a can. And I'm not a snob. I just don't prefer it. All right. Let me give everybody else their soup and see what they think about it.